This week, Atlanta tackles cancel culture and somehow has one of the craziest cameos you'll ever see on a TV show. Let's talk. Season 3, Episode 8 of Atlanta, New Jazz, directed by Hideo Mari and is written by Donald Glover. And this episode follows around Brian Tyree Henry and Lakeith Stanfield's characters of Alfred and Darius, respectively, as they walk the streets of Amsterdam, getting a little high on some space cakes. So, in this episode, it's really just a walk and talk episode, or so we think, but we swap out Darius about a third of the way in for a new character played by Ava Gray, and I think a fantastic performance, by the way, in this episode. So I'm hoping to see more of her going forward, because I really did enjoy her performance. This is one of those episodes that really give off that Twilight Zone type of feel. Plus, you know, you throw in the fact of them being high on weed and everything, especially Brian Tyree Hill's character, who's pretty confident in the fact that he is not going to be high from this, even though Darius has said he is. They even give him a warning, can you handle yourself? And he says, yeah, I can handle myself. But, as we see, it doesn't look like he can, as for many people who have smoked weed, no. Time loses its relevancy. So, you know, sometimes time goes really fast or it goes really slow. And we see a couple times in this episode where, you know, he'll go outside and it's night. And then, like, 20 minutes later, it's day again. It's just, you know, his mind is a little bit warped right now due to the edible that he ate at that restaurant, or space case is what they would call it, if I'm correct. It's also just diving into, I believe, his fears. You know, because when you get lost in your mind, you know, you might start thinking, you get anxiety, and he's diving into his fears and everything that he is worried about. When he meets Ava Gray's character, she's kind of like taking him on a journey and really like knocking him for all his faults, but she's just trying to prevent him from making the same mistake that others have made. They go to this bar called Cancel Club, which is really just where people go to be canceled. So essentially it's just, you know, commentary on the entire cancel culture. You know, she's just explaining to him everything, and then he goes and sits at the bar alone, and who should walk up than none other than Liam Neeson. Takes a seat next to him, explains to him everything that from a 2019 interview where he almost got canceled because he made some really insensitive comments towards black people back then, and he somehow sidestepped and didn't get canceled. And actually this cameo is one of the craziest cameos that I have ever seen on TV. I had no warning at all that this was coming. It makes a lot of sense. You know, they're in Amsterdam, that's what the first Taken is. You know, you got Liam Neeson, who's made some very insensitive comments in the past, and to be at this canceled bar, essentially just to show what happens to people when they get canceled. Like, do people learn from it, or do they deserve to be canceled? Like, Liam Neeson pretty much gets up from the bar and says that he's white, so he doesn't have to learn a lesson. It's a very self-aware scene. And I think that just shows that Liam Neeson is pretty self-aware, but does that give him the forgiveness that he deserves for what he said? I don't know. It could just be a very orchestrated move on his part, being like, hey, I'll go on Atlanta, which is a very primary black show, and like, maybe this will help me in my image. But it also could just be the fact that maybe he didn't deserve to be canceled for what he said, and that's what they're trying to show in this episode, is that, you know, everyone makes a mistake, and that shouldn't be the end of their careers, or in this case, in their lives, because as we see at the end of this scene, where Alfred is the next guy to come up on the stage, his name is New Jazz, and he's about to come up there, and Ava Gray's character gets him out of there, and she even says, as soon as they get out of the bar, I just saved your life. Essentially saying that he was going to go up there, and that was going to be him being canceled for things that he has done in his past, or for the skeletons in his closet, or for decisions that he has made. And she has saved him from that happening. And that is a very, very genius move, or because it's really probably in his head that he is afraid that he is going to be canceled, so he's worrying about the mistakes that he himself has made. And we see him collapse outside of this club, and then we see Darius and Urban grab him, take him back to the hotel room. The next morning he wakes up, Urban tells him, hey, you were thrown up, I changed your clothes, everything, and then he asks about his masters, which are his, you know, for those who don't know, those are the original copies of his music, that he owns his music. He wants to make sure that he owns his music, and tells him, yeah, you own it, because, you know, that just, you know, these are just fears for Brian Tyree Henry's character. So it makes a lot of sense what they were trying to show in this episode, and I thought it was just so well done. That Liam Neeson cameo was just so fantastic. I really didn't expect that. It makes a lot of sense in the context of this episode. Truly just shows you what a lot of people think in this world, and that just really just shows how Atlanta really is, and how they're just doing social commentary on everything that is going on in America right now, or in the world, because like I said, This episode takes place where it's mostly taken place this season as far as the non-dream episodes, which is in Amsterdam. And I really enjoyed this episode. It started off a little slow, but Atlanta always knows how to lay out its plot in the beginning, and then we just really take off from there. And it never reaches like those crazy heights. It's a lot of philosophical thinking and a lot of thinking about what the world is as a whole. And it's really just for you to look in it yourself. And I just think Atlanta nails it. And I really think that this is actually one of the top tier episodes of this season. And I think it's my favorite featuring the main cast, even though really following around mostly Brian Tyree Henry, except for in the beginning we get some good Darius stuff, which is, is always funny to me. So I got a kick out of that. But I think I have said in the past that his character, Brian Tyree Henry's character of Alfred, is probably my favorite character on the show, and I stand by that. I could follow him around just forever. I love this character. I love the way he portrays it. I'm also really excited that Brian Tyree Henry is just getting a lot of work lately. Like last year we saw him in Godzilla vs. Kong, and I know he's got a new movie coming out with Brad Pitt. I just saw the trailer for it yesterday. So it's always good to see somebody getting the recognition for their great acting ability, and we get plenty of that here. You could just see how he can carry an episode, and you bring a new character on like Ava Gray, and just shows you that the writing is fantastic. I know a lot of people have had a lot of complaints about this season, myself included, because I very much miss Zazie Beetz' character on this show, and they've kind of split it into 5 episodes of the main cast, 5 episodes, new characters and new stories. I know I have complained about that myself, about the lack of Zazie Beetz this season. Like I said, I don't know if it's because of scheduling issues. I'm sure that they wanted to have her in more episodes. She is one of the most fantastic actresses that we have alive today, and she's amazing. She kills her role as Van on Atlanta, so I know a lot of people would like to see more of her, me too, but you can't let that take away from enjoying the rest of Atlanta. And this was another fantastic episode, a great social commentary, really nails it. I had to spend a lot of time thinking about this episode, and who knows, I might have missed the ball on this one too. And if you think I did, please let me know in the comments section below. I'm always trying to learn more, always trying to have a better understanding of things, especially when it comes to storytelling. I think that Atlanta really nails the storytelling aspects of this, and it really has a lot of deep meanings, has fantastic writing, and I just always want to learn more about that. So if you guys could please, if you have any more comments that you think, oh, you know what, John, you missed this on this episode, it might open my eyes to things, and I would love to hear it. So please leave your comments on what your thoughts are on Season 3 of Atlanta. And also, guys, we only have 2 episodes left of this season, so when we hit episode 10, we're going to do a full review and we'll analyze everything. But guys, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and you tell all your friends.